Hey everybody. So over the years, I have had a lot of different kitchen appliances that I have shown off on this channel. And I thought now would be a good time to sort of look back on some of those things and show you what I'm actually still using to this day. Because most of the things that I've tried out, I've actually kept. A small amount of them I've given away, but most of them are actually still here. So in no particular order, let me show you some of the things that I am still using to this day and what I think about them. And if these things that I show you are still available on sale, brand new, I'll be sure to leave a link down to them in the description. So let's start things off with the Ninja Crispy. Now, this cost about $100, and I think I got this one from Walmart. There's always like a Walmart version of these Ninja appliances that come with one or two less features than the ones that you will find directly from Ninja or from another store like Target. But I actually didn't think that I would like this as much as I ended up liking it. And they market this thing as something that is so small you can take it with you to even work, and you can cook in your office kitchen if you want, and then eat directly out of this glass bowl. And yeah, you could do that if your work lets you do it. Just make sure you clean up after yourself. But I've been using this to cook very simple things, a lot of French fries, bacon. I've cooked nachos in here before. I reheat things in here instead of just always going over to the microwave. If I can reheat it in here, then I like to reheat it in here, and it does a good job of crisping things back up while helping it to still, maintain that moisture that it has. And this is just real simple. It only has a few modes for air frying and then for re-crisping, which is kind of like reheating. And then there's a max crisp function for frozen foods. But hey, this is very, compact. It's small. It's easy to clean. It's simple. And hey, I like it. I thought that this would be something that, I'll maybe use a couple times and just sort of set it on the shelf, but it's actually staying on the kitchen counter. I really like this thing. And what is becoming one of my favorite air fryers that I have is this one from Kasori that I recently did a video about. This is the Kasori Turbo Blaze air fryer. And when you look at it, it's nothing really different than any other basket style air fryer that you might see. It all looks the same. It's got the basket, push the button, take the basket out. But this is like one of the lightest air fryers that I have that I like. And then it also is faster. It cooks things faster than any other air fryer that I have. And they said it was because it uses a DC motor instead of an AC motor. But being able to cook something like, let's say some chicken wings, something that would normally take me closer to 20 minutes on something else would take me like 13 or 14 minutes in here. And although it doesn't seem like a whole lot of time, it is still impressive to see that things as common as an air fryer can still be improved upon depending on what you're actually doing to improve that process. And that is really great. It has a handful of different functions here. You can use this to proof bread if you want to do that. You can also just rewarm things in here. And when the Ninja Crispy is somewhere else, if it's dirty, I will just use the reheat function in this to reheat my food. And this is another one of those air fryers that stays on the counter because it does such a good job. Right now, I got nothing in front of me because I wanted to talk about the Ninja Foodie Oven. I used to always use the Ninja Foodie Oven and it would sit right there. But unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. It's dead. It's the second Ninja Foodie Oven that I had. Long time ago, I made a video about calling up Ninja's customer service to try to see if they would replace my Ninja Foodie Oven that had just suddenly broken. And they were nice enough to send me a new one. I just had to pay like shipping for it. So they sent me a new one. That one lasted, I'm just going to say a couple years. I'm not sure how long exactly it was, but it started giving me similar errors. It would turn off in the middle of a cook and it would just sort sort of becoming unreliable. I wasn't sure if it was actually going to complete the cook or if it was just going to stop right in the middle of it. So I ended up throwing that away, and I no longer have a Ninja Foodie oven. Now, that version was the Walmart version, so I don't know if another version that comes directly from Ninja or comes from like Target or Kohl's or whatever, I don't know if that version performs better or if it's more reliable than the Walmart version, but I am 0 of 2 from the Walmart versions that I have. But I replaced it with this Comfy air fryer oven, spelled Comfee, another product that I did a video on a long time ago, and it's just serving the purpose that the Ninja Foodie oven had served. It works very similarly. The knob can be a little bit fiddly in choosing the large amount of different functions that you can use, but it definitely still gets the job done. It's got an air fryer basket in there that I like to use when I cook things like fries, and there's also this a pretty decent size in there as well. So if you have like a frozen pizza, you can throw a frozen pizza in there. Not like a huge frozen pizza, but just like a regular DiGiorno, Freschetta, Red Baron, something like that. You can put that in there and still cook it up just fine. It's not as fast as the Kasori, but then again, it's also an oven. So this gets the job done, and it's going to continue to stay there until it decides to give up. But one Ninja product that has not given up on me yet is the Ninja Hot and Cold Blender. Another video long time ago I did on this, and it is still going strong. Now, I still use this almost every single day, mostly for making things like smoothies. All right. So it's going to be frozen fruit and fresh fruit for the most part, and things like that. Put it in there, blend it, or if there's a recipe that calls for blending something, then this is what I would go to. This is the only blender that I have. And when I want to use the heating function, I'll use it for the self-clean, and that still works and it still heats up. And I don't think you can buy this anymore brand new. Like I said, I'll look to see if maybe there's some place that still sells this, but I thought that this was a very interesting and unique product when it was released some years back, seeing how this is a heated blender. You can make soup in here if you wanted to. I think I made chicken noodle soup in here. You can make like tomato soup and all kinds of like different stuff. And it's a blender, so it gets the job done. It still works just great. And hopefully it'll continue to, because I don't want to buy another blender. I promise this is not just a video to promote Ninja products, but I got so many of them because I've always found them to be good and reliable. And this is the Ninja Steam and Crisp. It was an air fryer as well as a pressure cooker, like the sequel to the original OG Ninja Foodie that I also still have, but I don't use it anymore. But this is something that I used as recently as yesterday to pressure cook some cabbage, and I use it all the time. A lot of different features here. I like to use the saute function on here, the sear and saute function, which is basically using it as like a skillet. I like using the pressure cooker function for things like cabbage or something like rice. I can cook rice fairly quickly in here. Or if I got something like frozen chicken that I want to just get at right now, but I don't want to thaw it in the sink and I don't want to use the microwave on defrost, you can throw frozen chicken in here and you can pressure cook it for 5 minutes and it'll be completely thawed and a little bit cooked by the time it's done. And it's not good to eat at that point, but it will let you take it out, pat it dry, season it up, and then you put it right back in here on the steam and crisp function, and that's going to cook it. It's going to air fry it. It's going to give it that crispy skin on the outside of it. And yeah, I really like this thing. Seems like Ninja, right today, these days, not too focused on products like this one. So I don't know when an update to the Ninja Foodie air fryer pressure cooker combo is going to come out, or if there will be another one. But seeing as how the first one still holds up with the lid that was removable, and this one has the lid that stays on there, and this is still holding up good, my expectations are pretty high. And of course, it just comes with that basket, the air frying basket that comes in it as well. So this one is reliable right now. So this is made by Huron, and right now the exact model number escapes me, but I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. And this is, to me, what I consider to be a high-end juicer. It was hundreds of dollars when I did a video about this. and it is the best juicer that I have. I love the fact that it has this bucket on top where you throw just all your fruits and your vegetables over in here, and it just constantly turns at a gradual, somewhat slow pace and does a great job of juicing everything. You can keep track of where the progress is right here with this little sight window, and it just gets the job done very efficiently. And it's really simple to just come in, open up the lid, put more stuff in, close it up, and it automatically just keeps on going. In my opinion, these types of juicers are so much better and much more convenient than the ones where you have the plunger, and you got to put your stuff in through the top and you got to squish it down and you got to keep doing like this. I mean, this works like a blender, except it just doesn't go as fast. So even though this one is one of the more expensive juicers that they sell, I was definitely able to understand why people like juicers like this and some other brands that are also just as expensive, if not more expensive. And I also have a smaller version of this also for Hurom that I don't use all that much because it's smaller and it's not as powerful, and it just takes a little bit more effort in order to get the job done. But this is great. So if you got stuff like some watermelon and pineapple that I love to juice, especially since it's so hot outside right now, this is the type of juicer that is perfect for stuff like that. So we all need to drink water as much as we can, but the problem is tap water sucks. At least it does here, and it sucks in a lot of places. But I like this machine from Ethereal. This is their Light 3 water purifier. And what I like about this the most is that it's just so dead simple. It's got one button, that one button right there that you press, and it simply just dispenses the water. And it comes with this really nice glass pitcher. See, I'm telling you, I still use these products. I'm not just doing a video on them and throwing them in a pile. I still use this. I use this frequently, trying to even step away. At least my wife is trying to step away from bottled water as much. So just using this to just refill bottles. And this, along with some other water purifiers, the only thing is, once the filters run their course, you're going to have to buy more filters. So that's where a lot of the expense comes in. Even if the machine itself is not all that expensive, the filters, the consumables, that's what you have to think about when you want to choose something to continue to use it going forward, because you're going to need them. Now, what I do with this, the filters are going to degrade depending on how often you use it and or how long it's just been plugged in. So what I do is I use it to fill up the picture, then I unplug it, and I don't plug it back in until I am ready to fill it up again. And that helps me to prolong the filter use. At least, that's the conclusion that I've drawn based on what the instruction manual told me. But the water tastes really nice and clean and fresh out of here. I use it all the time, and I really do love this glass pitcher. And this is pretty full, so it's about time for me to start drinking some water out of here. And as you can see, it is nice and it's frosted. And yeah, this is my favorite water purifier. So I've done quite a few videos about different Casa Brews coffee machines, and this is one that I did a video on, well, like all these other videos, a long time ago. But I really do like this one, even though it's not one of their higher end, fancier models, because this one has a milk dispenser. Now, off the top of my head, I can't remember the model number. I'll put it on the screen so that you can find it. But this is the milk container, and then you simply can put this down in here like that, and then you have this part right here that you can just slide into the side like that, and then the milk container rests directly on top of it, so it's not floating in the air. And then it also has like this tubing on the inside so that you can dispense milk into your espresso. So you can make like a latte if you want, or you can make a cappuccino, and you can keep your nice cold milk right inside here. And even though there's no like frothing steam wand on here, I think that if you really just want something that's a lot more simplistic, you don't want to do all of that, but you do want to have some milk inside of your coffee. And this does still make it somewhat frothy, so you can still have that experience. Then this is the model that you want. Like I said, it's not the highest end model that they have, but it's definitely one of the more unique ones because of this milk dispenser. And of course, if you wanted to, get your coffee as good as you can by checking out this gauge and trying to get it within the espresso range, you still have all that going on. You still have a tamper, you still have your handle with your coffee grounds in here that you can do all that stuff with. But if you also just wanted to use some milk for lattes and cappuccinos, this machine gets it done. Before I start wrapping this up, let me talk about some cookware. So these are also from Ninja. This was part of their Never Stick line. You can't read it anymore because I've been using these for quite a while. There was a whole big set of these at Walmart that came with a couple different skillet sizes and some pots as well. These have held up good over the years. I think one of the things they were saying about these is that you can use like forks inside of the different skillets and stuff and not have to worry about ruining the finish. I don't use forks a whole lot, but I have used them in here, and just like over the years, I watched this recently. This is why there was water in it. You can just kind of see that it looks still pretty good right there on the surface. However, but for the pots, not so much. Again, recently washed this, but if you can see on the inside of it, you can see that some of the coating on the bottom has scraped away. So it wasn't as protected against the scratching of forks as much as I would have hoped, at least not for this. And then the other thing about these different pots is the handles are metal, so they can get pretty warm when these are just sitting on the stove and you want to go take this off. You need some type of protection just to keep yourself from not getting like seriously burned, but it gets uncomfortably hot. But hey, they're still holding up. It's been years. It's still getting the job done. So, I'm not angry about it, but those are just some things that I thought that maybe you should know about. I'm still also a big fan of electronic food composters, countertop food composters. I think that these things should just come standard in every house, like a dishwasher. And I am using right now the Ethereal, I think it's the Revive 800, the R800 electronic food composter. And I just love putting all my different food scraps in there. And it does a great job at breaking them down into what looks like dirt that you can just pour in your garbage can so that you won't just keep throwing away your food scraps into the garbage. They can get smelly and all that other good stuff. So there you go. Those are some of the appliances that I still use to this day inside the kitchen. If I can find links to any of these things, if they're still sold brand new, you can find them somewhere. I'll leave them down in the description. And if you find them on the second-hand market somewhere, then maybe my experience with that can kind of give you an idea of how they could hold up over the years. So that's going to do it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.